You're about to witness a seismic event.
Hey, you're listening to Skitball.
Huh? It's Bags.
Skitbags.
Radio.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Skitbags Radio. This is Devin Mueller, a.k.a. Sailor Dev in the house.
Yo, it's Neil the Great, Neil the Don, Neil the Fantastic, Neil the... Who? Who's he? Yeah, me.
Yeah, it's your man Big Cruz, a.k.a. Mr. C the Enforcer, a.k.a. Carl Anthony, a.k.a. Poppy Carlo, a.k.a. Black Jesus, a.k.a. I Love You Back, Baby. Welcome to the Skitbags Radio Show.
Also Big Cruzy.
Yo, Carl, how many nicknames do you have, bro?
About 12 to 47. Because I have so many variations. There's Methuselah, you know what I'm saying? There's Black Trump.
There's also Mr. Caesar.
Yeah, there's Mr. Caesar, you know what I'm saying? There's CJ the DJ, you know what I'm saying? There's you got Papito, you got C. Hey Jorge Habalos.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes, yeah.
Dude, you should make a children's book with just your names for kids to have as their first word.
Yeah, I know. We're going to call it Multiple Personality Disorder. The series.
So, what's up, guys? What's been going on?
How was that once Halloween?
Oh, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Got turned up, got dressed. You know, LA, you got to dress up or nobody love you.
Carl was at the Comedy Store, right?
I did too much on Halloween. Halloween was just... It was... The fact, check this is my analysis of Halloween right now.
Yeah.
Halloween came in at people were thinking, okay, so it's on a Tuesday,
right?
So it's not gonna be as turned up because it's not right.
Yeah.
But fucking contraire, my friend. The fact that it was on a Tuesday made people had to how do I say this? Compensate the weekend before. So everybody went hard on Friday. Everybody went hard on Saturday. Everybody went hard on Sunday. That's from my perspective. And then guess what? When Tuesday came around, niggas was like,
yeah,
I'm about to go hard on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just too much.
Yeah.
And I experienced it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I experienced massive Halloween hysteria.
Did you guys dress up?
Oh, yeah. I dressed up. I dressed up for work. We did Jurassic Park at the work. So I was Sam Jackson. Everybody hold your butts.
That's right. I remember you had that awesome Jurassic Park outfit. By the way, I have your badge.
Oh, yes.
In my bag right there. So don't let me forget.
He hasn't been back to Jurassic Park since. He hasn't been back. He's been telling me about this shit. Now maybe he can make up his story and bring some legitimacy to it. Because I don't believe any of his tales.
Yeah,
I don't believe him. Even though it's Halloween, it was a costume. He kind of had me on a run.
Yeah.
What about you, Neil? What'd you dress up as?
I had two costumes. I was I was just where the party was at. Basically, a dude with a blonde wig holding, a 20-pack.
There it is.
That's where the party's at.
Because I am where the party is at. And I ended up being Captain Black Sparrow.
There you go.
Following me.
That's awesome. That's fucking dope. Dude, if I had known you wanted to do that, I would have lent you my pirate outfit.
I had a pirate outfit. What the fuck?
I didn't. Well, I didn't know, man.
Right.
No, hold on. You didn't see me in the pirate outfit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't see you in it, so I didn't know.
But yours was a bit more majestic. Mine was more just right after slavery pirate.
Right.
I was just there just to get booty. Literally.
Yeah. Right.
That's awesome.
And you got to have multiple costumes too on Halloween in LA. I had three. I was Sam Jackson. I was Big Cruzy's first entrance into the world and whatnot.
I was so Halloweened out on me that
And what's it called when you kill everybody?
I wore no costume on Halloween. I had worn so many costumes over the weekend. I was costumed out for the actual Halloween.
Dude, that is so LA. To wear out all your costumes at other parties, and then you're like, "Yo, Halloween. What are you for Halloween?" I'm LA.
I'm in.
I was out, so that was my situation.
The nothing.
Well, something else happened on this fabulous holiday weekend. One of my favorite shows ever just dropped season 2, Stranger Things. Yeah. Now, Neil and I were talking about this. We wanted to break down season 1 and kind of give our thoughts on that because at the time, neither one of us had seen season 2 or all of it. And we didn't want to give away any spoilers. So we're going to talk about that for a little bit. Carl, have you seen Stranger Things?
Never seen it, but I heard it's a great show, and it's very weird from what I understand. It makes you reconsider.
Carl, would you want somewhat of a mini summary of basically, well, not really of the show, but just what?
Yeah, a synopsis would be great.
Synopsis of what's going on.
Be great.
I'm gonna give you a little something. basically what makes the show popular, and I believe, is the fact that we're watching like a horror movie, not a horror movie, a scary movie back from when we were kids. It has a very 80s feel. Yeah. Even the way it's shot, the actors in it, the music, the score. So it feels like we're watching one of those movies back when we were a kid. Yeah. When I was younger, I swear to God, Dev, me and my homies would play horror movie roulette. You know, we would go to the video store. I don't know if you guys remember these places.
What?
You know, they existed back in New York, where we would rent actual VHS cassettes. But in my mind and in our minds, and it should be now inserted in your minds, yo, dude, the most random scared movie is gonna probably be the most scariest. Okay, we would just go to the aisle, we would just pick the most random scary movie and watch it, you know, and it'd be fucked up, you know, because even the worse the story, the scarier it was if you fucking think about it, you know. And that's how it was for us as kids, and that's kind of what that's not the story of Stranger Things, but that's the feel. It feels like you're watching this random, like B-list, like C-list, like scary movie, but it's great story, and it's a show. And so instead of it being a movie, now you're watching episodes of like a horror. It's not really horror. It's more just scary elements, gloomy, and drama. It has that feel of a scary movie, you know, like
it's like that drama horror.
Well, it's eerie. Is that an eerie tone to it? The
suspenseful.
Like I'm gonna put it to you like this. Like I'm not too sure. You know what? How about this? You know, like M. Night Shyamalan. Know how he's really good at making like those really scary movies, but there's rarely any like gore or blood involved. That's the kind of feel that this has.
Disney's scary. I dig it.
Not kind of halfway there though, because I get your feel though.
Disney will scare the fuck out of you without doing nothing wrong.
Some of the main reasons, dude, I love this show, and I think anybody our age will appreciate this show, is because it's so 80s themed and 80s callbacks to 80s horror movies and or anything 80s, really. It's not just the horror movies. So when you watch it, like the colors, the way the Duffer Brothers, who are the creators of the show, have used the color palette on some of these scenes, almost looks like Blade Runner. Like it's like a red light comes in, or like close encounter. Like I created a list of season 2 of all the 80s callback movies that I saw in season 2 when I binged it. So I didn't even go through season 1, but let me just throw you this list of these movies.
Wait, so there's a weird theory?
No, there's no weird theory. They admit to doing this. They just do it as like an homage.
Break it down. Let's see what we got.
So on purpose, like when Will opens a door in this one scene, and it's reminiscent of the little kid in Close Encounters of the Third Time when he opens the door of the house and all the lights and the aliens are on the outside of the house. So like that's clearly, and they admit, they go, yeah, we love Close Encounters, so we put that in there as like an homage and a nod to it. So they have Close Encounters, Ghostbusters, Goonies, St. Elmo's Fire, Mad Max, Gremlins, Scarface, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Mist, The Exorcist, The Warriors, Halloween, and Poltergeist. All in just season 2. Wow. And that's not even considering they have like, this isn't a spoiler, but they have one scene.
Hold on, relax.
All right.
So some people take that spoiler stuff, so they don't like to gamble. They don't like to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, me, I don't care. I won't watch the show for 10 years.
Yeah,
Tell me
I really do
like.
I do like Stranger Things. I watched the pilot episode. Actually, when I watched the first season, I kind of was thinking, where else could this show go? But they did. Apparently, they do have an idea of what else.
So the first season, they didn't have as big a budget, so there was not as many visual effects as far as CGI. They did a lot of stuff with costume effects and practical effects work.
Sometimes that's better.
It is really good, but that what they had, it was like they had a framework to work within. So the reason I feel like the writing and the acting and like the lighting and cinematography and the music was so good is because they were forced to work within like create this world within these constraints. And that's why I think season 2 is a lot bigger than just following those specific immediate characters in season 1.
No, I'm definitely excited.
I think that's why, like, and you also, there's more CGI, there's more visual effects because it has to be bigger because they have like this larger world. I was listening to an interview with the Duffer Brothers, and they said season 1, their visual effects artist was in the office part-time. He wasn't even in there. Now in this season, they had I think a team of 5 or 8 people in there full time.
Official shit.
So it just shows you like the level of amount of work and the difference. And that partly is because once the success of the first season happened, I'm sure Netflix was like, here you go, here's a bag of money. Do whatever you guys want.
Is the show focused all around the kids that I always hear about?
It is about the kids, which also makes me kind of worry about the show. It's like, what's going to happen?
Oh, little Harvey Weinstein. I dig it. I dig it.
I don't think it's just about the kids. I really think it's about this town, and these kids are the focal point of the town.
Oh, I bet they are. Oh, yeah.
No, for sure. Be quiet. All I'm trying to say is, of course, they're great on the show for sure.
Okay.
But I just wonder, these kids will age. They will get older. I wonder how far this show will go in terms, or if they will just adapt.
Well, I mean, you can just grow with them. That's the best thing, to grow with somebody during the show. It makes the show real time.
Way down the line.
Here's the thing. Hawkins is a town where this story takes place. So you can introduce other characters from the town. Don't have to limit themselves to just these kids as characters for the length of the series run, like it's like Simpsons. The reason Simpsons is really good is because it doesn't just have the immediate family. They have they have a whole town of characters they can use in the same way like South Park works as well. It's like we could do a whole episode where none of the boys are in it, and it still works.
It still works. Is it a
10-year
long? Well, do you think it'll last 10 years?
No, I don't think so. But I don't think it has.
I thought that was like the rule. If like you were like the bombest show ever, you last
Breaking
like 10
Bad
years.
is like 6 years, 5 years.
Okay, all right, 5 years. I'll give 5 years to Mark then. 5 years.
I'll tell you one thing that I do not like about the show, and I'll tell you this right now.
What is this?
This show involves a lot of mystery, intrigue, thrilling suspense, minor displays of graphic violence.
Oh,
but what it doesn't lack is it has a mystery to it, right? Mm-hmm. But in the show, we as the audience already know the mystery. It's the characters on the show that have to solve the mystery. Like we're ahead of them. We're watching.
So you're watching them figure everything out,
which makes you realize how good this show must be.
Yeah,
Because of how it's being filmed. That's why everyone watches the show. It's so beautifully filmed, and the story's told so well. But the part that everyone's kind of blindsided by is that we kind of know the mystery of what's happening. We're just watching these other people figure it out.
You mentioned the films.
I'm more of a fan.
Movie callbacks.
I'm more of a fan of watching a film or a movie where we're kind of lost and where they know what's going on, and then we're trying to figure it out. And then there's that one person who's us in the film. Who's like trying to figure it out with us, rather than this angle.
Nice.
That's kind of the way I like to watch a film. Like mostly, like what's a movie like that? Usually, most of the cases, like for instance, this is like a way out there example, like Inception. You watch Inception.
Like
we don't know what the fuck is going on in Inception. But Leonardo DiCaprio knows. The other fucking dude, with the fucking 4-name dude. Joseph Levitt Gordon. That's his name.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, I was close.
Yeah,
and like I like movies. If we're gonna go like that mystery kind of intrigue path, I like the movies where I'm lost in a purpose. I'm purposely lost.
Yeah, I think that makes
and
it
the guys
good.
in the movie, they know what's going on. And I'm catching on. I'm like, oh shit, But in this show, it's the other way around, where we're seeing the monsters, we're seeing what's happening, we're seeing like behind the scenes. Whereas these guys are the ones that have to be convinced. These people who have seen it, they still have to convince these kind of people. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like
that's crazy.
So
it's like a horror movie.
It's like a slow burn. Yeah, you know what I mean? But they will do it very well.
Nice.
What do you guys think about? Well, Neil, what do you think about the music for the show?
It was fantastic.
That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
It's very 80s. So, like, the Drive soundtrack? Remember how that sounded?
Don't it get me started?
Oh, yeah. That GTA style.
Kavinsky, those type of, artists.
Right now.
I was listening to it the other day, and, the Stranger Things soundtrack, and I was just like, a lot of it's original composure. And by the way, this upcoming in November, the composers for Stranger Things are doing a live performance in downtown LA.
So the music that's being played besides the soundtracks of obvious songs. This is original music.
Yes.
Oh, that's dope.
100%. That's but it's in the style of that like 80s DJ kind of. That's what, and it fits. The original composure helps with each one of these scenes, and that's why, like, when you have a certain camera movement and a certain lighting, and you put on this track where it's not like a known song. You know, obviously they do drop a lot of 80s original songs in there that aren't theirs. You know, but when it's the original song, you're just like, oh man, it makes it even creepier because you've never heard that, and it's like suspenseful. At least for me, I feel like Stranger Things is, in my opinion, probably the best TV show that's come out in the last 5 years.
Nice.
Is because of how encompassing and how all these pieces work together. There's other shows that are like really, really great in writing.
Westworld's kind of up there.
Westworld's up there, but for me,
like that one too. I never watched that one either, but I heard that was the bomb.
I don't know.
Like visually, though,
I don't watch any of the good TV shows. It's too much. I get angry when I watch TV. I'm old. Sorry.
No, I get it up there. I'll say it's one of the top 5.
Definitely. I am a huge Westworld fan too, man. I just think like visually Stranger Things to me is better. But Westworld has a great, amazing score. Its writing is brilliant. Its actors are amazing and phenomenal. I mean, come on, leave it to HBO. What
would be a great show?
Yeah.
Just to one up Stranger Things, if you ask me.
What was that?
And I'm gonna get this copyrighted somehow.
Oh shit!
Well, you're saying it right here, so that's what it is.
Yeah, you got the.
You're just right. Should we can always edit this out, but just say what you think.
I think a great television show would be Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh, yeah. You can film it. You can film it in the '80s era. Yeah. And we can just be.
And now we can really get some gore into this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Did you see?
And it's Freddy Krueger. Like it can be anyone in any neighborhood. Like you know what I mean? Like it can be endless people. Like every season can be like just the one thing. But like it could be like the same kind of like slow burn that Stranger Things has. Yeah. Where we kind of all know what's going on. But it can be now we can add that like every episode, someone's getting like Walking Dead mutilated and shit, that could be like the one up. I think that'd be a good idea.
Have you, excuse me, have you seen the episode of Rick and Morty where they do this with Nightmare on Elm Street?
They do.
No.
Yeah, and they make it a joke. So they have Freddy, and his name's not Freddy. It's like Crazy Carl or something. But he's like it might not be Carl. I can't remember. But anyways, he goes through, and his tagline is he runs through people's dreams through different dimensions, and Rick and Morty are being chased by him because he's running through with a closet. He goes, "You can run, but you can't hide, bitch. You can run, but you can't hide, bitch." So like that's his only mantra. And then they finally lose him, and he like goes back to his house, and like Freddy's got like a wife and kids, and something like normal wife and husband shit happens, and he's like, "Don't yell at me, bitch." And then she's like, "Not in the house, not in here. You leave that work at the door." He's got like a little monster as his child and stuff. So
crazy.
It has nothing to do with your idea. I just was wondering if you had seen that because it's hilarious. It's a comedic take on that.
Yeah. It's like they took Back to the Future and made it a cartoon.
I'm hilarious.
When I talk about the damn future, I see you got that banging ass new phone over there, Mr. Superman. iPhone X shining on me, making me feel like less of a person and whatnot. So how'd you come up on that shit, yo? I heard you did some ill shit.
It's a beautiful thing. I don't really know how else to put it. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't really interested in really getting the phone like this quickly at all. I'm very I like the iPhones. But
you got 5 minutes. You need to cut this out. I'm just saying Keith's here.
Oh well, yeah, might as well knock out the story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tell your story.
Oh well, this is it. Basically what happened was I was interested in getting a phone, but I'm gonna give you guys a little life hack right now. I'm gonna break some shit down for you that you might need to know in case you're that kind of guy that likes to get. You know what? This excludes shoes. 'Cause I know shoes is a whole nother culture. I'm not sure about that whole shit. But everything else in terms of electronics and whatnot, I'm gonna peep you on some game. So these guys in my work, they're telling me how like, oh, did you pre-order your phone? And I'm like, no, I'm not planning on getting it right now anyway. I'm just gonna get it, probably in the second batch. I don't have any money to get it at the moment. I'm trying to get tickets to go back to visit for Thanksgiving. And then they're like, oh, well, that's gonna be your ass because that the next shipment won't be. You'll get one to like mid-December. I'm like, I bet I can get one. I'm sure I can get one. And then they're like, no, you can't. And I go, actually, you just have to know where to go to get these phones or these electronics, whatever it is. And they said, bullshit. And the guy said, hey, if you can get one by Monday, I would I'd buy you a case and a cover. And I was like, I swear to God, 4 years ago, I had my phone for like 4 years. iPhones are very good products. And when I went to get it, I did the whole shit. I pre-ordered it, make sure I got my ticket. I was make sure I get there early before work and whatnot. And I showed up to the store. Nobody was in line. Not a single person. I was like, what the fuck is this? I thought I was about to be part of the experience. I was ready to get I had coffee, I was getting ready to do the full joint, and
camping out like it's Black Friday.
Yeah, and then there was nothing. I got my phone, no problem. And then later on, I walked through the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. Yo, they had the fucking line like it was the fucking airport check-in. I'm talking like I swear, I actually think there was a fucking metal detector joint for your luggage to go through. That's how fucking legit this shit was. And
that's
so
hilarious.
I was like, this is crazy. So
it's very LA too.
So I called the same spot and I was like, yo, you guys have an iPhone X? And they were like, yeah, actually we do. We have like 6 of them. I'm like, oh, there we go. I told you they have them. And then I started talking. They was like, yo, how much will this cost me? This shit's $1,000. Well, since I denied like 4 consecutive upgrades, I had like accumulated some kind of points. They gave me like half off for this shit for trading in my 6. Yeah. And I didn't even have to put any money down. I got 50% off the lease agreement too. So like I got this for nothing. Motherfucker that was telling me to pre-order, who did pre-order, I got mine before he did. That's right. Fuck those. I went there on my lunch break.
That's hilarious.
That's right. Skitbags. Fuck the
Absolutely
rules.
ridiculous. So I'm just telling you my life hack. If you ever want to get like a new iPhone, or if you want to get like a new PlayStation, or some new electronic shit, these are the rules to getting them without having to do stupid pre-order or anything like that. This is what you have to do. You have to this is what you have to realize. That all these locations, all these retail stores, they have to get them. They have to have them in stock. They have to be shipped to them. Okay? All right? Unfortunately, as life may have it, some places where these things are shipped to, people may not have the funds to afford these items. That's just how it is, But at the same time, they have to have these shipments. You have to locate these stores the day of or whenever and contact them. These are places that actually, let's be honest, where the average person who does have the money to purchase this may not want to go to pick it up. That's where you probably be your best shot of finding these items.
Go to the hood.
You know what I mean? If you ever, and I'm not, and actually, and not just saying just going to, you might have to go somewhere in the fucking like suburbs and whatnot,
boonies,
in the middle of nowhere, a place that like kids ain't gonna be missing school to go through it there. People aren't like working like close to the job. It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's a place that is so isolated, doesn't really get hit up.
Nice.
That you'll be able to find them. If it's in the city and whatnot, of course it's a wrap. It's gonna be over. That's the one everyone's gonna go to. But you have to find some random ass store, and that will have it, because all these places have to get them. They have to get them.
Brilliant.
At some point.
It's brilliant, Mike. Brilliant, Mike.
That's really what to do it. Like,
crikey, brilliant.
And that just goes across the board. But like I said, I'm not really sure about the shoes. Shoes are actually this whole nother game, apparently.
Oh, man, shoot, I can't. They be in line for them shoes like it's a motherfucking pussy and shit.
You guys are crazy. I can't speak on any of this because A, I have an Android, and B, I wear flip flops most of the time because I'm from fucking Florida.
He's such a rebel. He's an
I'm
Android,
like,
he's a flip flop wearing Android.
Neither one of these talks. I'm just like, okay, cool. All right, have fun. Get your iPhones.
Bad to the bone.
I don't have anything against iPhone. I just, I've always been the other route.
That's what all the Android haters say.
What? Yeah, that's me. Call Android up in here.
Android.
If you're not Android, go
make
home.
a switch. It's
Nah, man. The only thing I would switch to, I don't give a fuck. The only reason I have Android is because all my shit is like synced up with all my accounts. I don't have any Apple accounts, so it allows me to and I know you could do that with the iPhone, but I've just been utilizing that operating software for so long.
I'll be honest. Androids always have more features. They have all the extra features because they always do it first. PC always does it. They make all the extra crazy. That's why I had this shit be fucking up.
So that they can fuck up, and then we can see all the bugs, and then we can do the.
But you know what's like the perfect hybrid between the two is the new Pixel. the new Google phone. That's got like a lot of the.
They getting their hands on too much of my shit. I can't.
They're gonna take over the world, so don't just deal with
it. Don't help them,
bro. They're laying lines of fucking fiber in Kansas that do like 100 terabytes a second.
Here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. How is your screen? Is your screen cracked or is it in condition?
No, mine's fine, and I drop my shit all the fucking time.
There you go. If you ask me, that's the bottom line. If I was a CEO of a company. I got 2 candidates. We're coming up. I need to hire one of you guys to be, top of this project. But the resumes are the same. You guys are actually almost are like twins. I don't know what to do. You know what the test is? I'm sorry, guys. You know what my final test is? I want to see your phones. I want to see both your phones. And if one of them has a cracked screen, I'm sorry, son. You're out.
That's dirty.
I'm sorry. I need someone who knows how to not drop their shit.
Bro, that's an episode of Black Mirror there.
I'd have gave the guy with the crack phone a job because I know his need the job, so he'd be more of a good slave for me. Like, this motherfucker needs this job. You gonna stay here? You gonna work late?
Yeah, but everyone needs a job. I need someone who can hold the job.
Yeah, that's
Yo, we have the best motherfucking writer, director, producer, and star of his own movie. The wonderful, the powerful, the legendarily epic Keith Sutliff in the house. What's up, Keith?
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
Hi, man. That is a man of many titles. Like, when I just name drop all that shit, it's an honor for us because one of the things that I feel so impressed about with your movie, The Mason Brothers, is the fact that you wrote, directed, produced, and starred in it. And that, if people don't know in the industry, I mean, just from hearing all that, if you're not in the industry, that's a lot of work. But if you're in the industry, you're like, holy shit, fuck, that's a lot of work. So, I mean, I wanted to kind of get your perspective of what wearing all those hats was like from conception of your movie to the end. But first, tell us what your movie is. Tell us what it's about, what it's called. Give us a 411. Let everybody out there know what you've been working on.
Sure. So it's called The Mason Brothers. It's a heist movie. It's a crime thriller movie. It's a heist film. Since I was, a kid, I've always wanted to do a heist movie. So thought for my first feature, it'd be a great thing to do as a heist movie. So essentially, it's about a group of brothers that it's their last main bank heist before they get out of town. They're these organized criminals, bank robbers, and they go hit this bank for $10 million. But in the process, they're set up by another group of criminals, which leads to a shootout, leads to the death of one of the brothers, which sets up the whole plot line for the movie. They're trying to figure out, okay, who was the main guy who set him up at this bank, who told this other group of criminals to go there at the same date and time, because they hit every bank in under 3 minutes. And who were these other group of criminals in general? So they're it's a revenge story about a group of brothers trying to get revenge on the death of one of their siblings. So essentially that's what it's about. It's really about revenge and family and, trying to seek vengeance on these people who sold them out, who set them up.
That's awesome. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but all 3 of us were at the premiere.
That's right. That's right.
So, which was dope. So thank you for the invite, brother.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I'm glad you guys all came.
I was a huge fan of the film, and I'm a huge fan of vengeance also.
Yes.
Cool.
So where'd you get this idea? Where did the idea for the script come from? Or how long, from conception to actually writing a script was that kind of thing?
Sure. It took me a month to write the script.
That's quick. It's quick as fuck.
It's funny because I won't jump too much in this, but because I just finished another feature script that I want to shoot next, and that took me. I was finishing a post on this film, but it took me 2.5 months, 3 months to write, and I was like, why is this taking so much longer than the other one? It's weird. And I wrote another script would have taken longer, or shorter. Well, not shorter than 4 weeks, but that's the fastest script I've ever written. I don't know how, but it just flowed. It's just a creative process. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it doesn't. That's the unique thing about writing or any type of creative art. I'm sure it's the same with music. You guys, I don't do music, but I'm sure you guys can vouch for some. You guys do music, Carl. It took 4 weeks to write. Where I get the story, I didn't really get it. I wasn't really inspired by a specific anything else. Really, I've just always wanted to tell. I thought it'd be great to tell a story because here's the thing: everyone's been double crossed or set up not maybe set up, but kind of double crossed or screwed over by somebody to a certain degree in their life.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
Everybody loves me.
Especially in the entertainment industry. I'm half kidding. No. But a lot of people have been screwed over before to a certain degree with family or whoever.
Or have done the screwing.
Or that too.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, well, it'd be great to tell a story about this tight group of brothers who are bank robbers, organized criminals. That's what they do for a living. And in the process of their last heist, before they're off to the sunset and they're gone, they're done with the business, they get set up at this bank. So I just kind of came up with that concept. And I've always loved heist movies. I've always loved Heat, Reservoir Dogs, Drive. That's more modern. It's kind of a heist movie. The Point Break. There's so many classics that I've always. Those have kind of. If you have anything inspired, I would say heist movie in general from the past, from like the 90s and 80s. But no specific thought really inspired it to answer your question.
Yeah. Have you seen Baby Driver?
I have not. Is that good?
You like it. You'll like it. Good? Yeah, it's good. I was kind of on the fence after seeing the previews and everything, especially with this unknown playing the lead. Yeah. But I watched it. My brother bought it, and we watched it together, I don't know, a month ago or something for the first time. And I was like, oh, shit. This is actually pretty good. It has elements of Drive, but not necessary because it's about a driver, obviously, and that's where a lot of the action comes from. Yeah. But the concept of like how the criminals interact with each other and how like they get away and all that, those details is what makes it interesting, because you're watching the movie and you're like, okay, this is what's going on, and then you're like, where are they going with this? How long is there going to be sustained? And then right when you start to think that, then it throws you a curveball and it goes in. So
it's more up tempo than that driving, because that driving was slow.
Way more up tempo, dude.
It was. It's different type of. You get to like the type of style and that little cinematography in the music.
Don't even get me started with driving this dude. Right.
Yeah, we're not here to break down Drive. We're here to break down Amazing Brothers.
I just complain. I'm here to complain about Drive.
That's fine. All right,
hey, whatever. It's a creative art form.
What's hilarious is we were talking with three of us. We were talking about Halloween and what we went out for Halloween before you got here, and your costume. Tell everybody what your costume was for Halloween, because I was with you.
The driver from Drive, dude. I had the glove. I had the jacket. I still have it on my camera phone right here, man. I can show you.
I was like, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
The Drive. It's one of my top four favorite movies of all time.
Okay, cool.
You have to because I just love this. I know we're not here to talk about it. It's the cinematography, the style, the direction was so amazing. The acting.
Yeah, I actually have this.
Neil loves it. He rips me about it. He's like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's one of the greatest movies that's ever been made.
Well, it's a drama thriller.
Like, all right, okay.
The best part,
I got a Philadelphia public school education. My attention span is just not strong enough.
The best part of the film was that after we finished watching it in the theater, like on my drive home, was actually, because if you ever watched the film, like they film a lot of the driving scenes like on the dashboard of like the car.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like my same ride home. Like so the ride in the film was like my ride home. Like
I see what you're saying.
Like I'm reliving it, the fucking film.
In the music that same beat, tick of the clock.
We were just talking about that, listening to Kavinsky and stuff.
There's a 6th Street right here. Like, oh fuck.
6th Street Bridge, yeah, that's where I filmed that in the beginning. Anyways, great movie.
Well, we're gonna get into that because I do have some questions for you in our segment at the end of this, and you kind of just answered one of them, but that's fine. I got plenty more. So, anyways, I want to talk about what did you know after writing the script that you wanted to produce, direct, and write, or produce, direct, and star in it, or did you kind of did it develop into that, or how did that process go? Like, were you basically all on you and you had to find the money and put together the team and because you did this, you told me it was a very quick shoot. How long did you shoot this in?
12-day shoot over 3 weeks. We spread it over 3 weeks, but 12 days.
All nights, right?
Yes, except for 2 days. So there's a couple scenes in the movie that are in the daytime.
Nice.
So we crammed those in the 2 days. First 2 days of filming were daytime shoots. The rest were other 10 days were all night.
So you got the script. Now what?
So started writing November 2015. Well, let me back up right before that. So basically, I was trying to get another script, which was my dream script made, called Suitcase City. That was my first one. I was like, I gotta get this made, but it was a huge budget. We came up with millions and millions of dollars, and I approached the distributor at a film festival, and I was like, hey, I have this script. Yeah, I'm looking for financing, all this stuff. Yeah, and he said the best advice he gave me, which led to me doing this movie, was he said, look, if I were you, go out in the desert, write a script out in the desert or somewhere, and go shoot it for $10,000. Make a film, because if you want to establish yourself, if you want to start directing films, You establish yourself as a feature film director. Because go shoot a film. Because all I had was short films.
Yeah.
And
that's great advice.
Yeah, well, that's all I had was short films. And to answer some of that question, get more into it, is in all my short films, I always played a lead or one of the strong supporting guys. And I always wrote them. And I always produced them. And I always acted them and all that stuff. And I always directed them. So
Spike Lee style.
Yeah. But it was kind of, I like that style in the sense of some other directors do it. Tarantino, Ben Affleck. Those are big names. But there's other smaller directors who do it too.
Tarantino, yeah.
It's like a trademark. So I thought, well, it's a cool trademark. And, it's just something I wanted to be so much. You spend so much time with it, producing and making it and marketing it. That's like, why not go all in? You're spending so much time with it anyways. Why not act in it and do all these things? So, anyways, he told me, like, go shoot a film for cheap. However, it was a little more expensive than what I thought. Even though it was a low budget movie in Hollywood terms, it was still a lot more expensive than just $10,000, obviously. But I took his advice, is what I'm saying. And I told the people I was on work with, I was like, hey, let's do this. I wrote the script, came up with the financing with me and another investor. And then we did 7 months of pre-production and shot it in June of 2016.
Nice.
That was my question. 7 months of pre-production.
Yeah. That's
Did you, and that's including,
December to June.
Is that including not only your role as a producer in the business side, but also all the directing aspects as far as like storyboard, location, scouting, all that shit?
Everything, dude. Everything. Location, line producing. Like, I didn't even know what the hell a line producer was until I got into like making a feature film, dude. People explain to me this. I'm a line producer. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like,
what the fuck is that?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
All right, explain to our audience what a line producer is, because that's a good point, and they probably don't know what the hell we're talking about now either.
No, unless you're in the business, you really don't know. So there's different types of producers, as you know. But a line producer is basically a person who's in charge of assembling everything. Like crew, location, like they'll hire like a location manager. They're in charge of getting the sound people, like I said, locations, crew, like craft, like getting casting directors, like everything. So like they're assembling the army. They're kind of like going and hiring all these people to maybe go out and hire additional, like the casting director will go in charge of casting, or they'll get, the location scout to go, or sometimes they'll scout the location themselves. So they're basically assembling all the pieces of the movie. That's what a line producer is.
To budget.
Yes, to budget.
In my opinion, a line producer is much more focused about the logistical and financial aspects of the film, whereas just a normal producer can make the whole thing come together and like have a concept and work with the director to develop it and have like tone. Like there's more of a creative aspect with, and I'm not discrediting any line producers at all, but I'm just saying like for a general.
I think they're the money manager. I think it's kind of their job to make it all happen within the budget.
Yes, that's exactly right.
It's kind of like your role in Skitbags.
Yeah. Man, I have many different hats of Skitbags, and that's just one of the more tedious ones. I love it though. Don't worry, I love it. It's just it is work. That's what I feel like. I'm a creative individual, and when I do line production work, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. It's like homework. I gotta go back and I gotta go do math. I gotta go do accounting. You gotta cross T's, and you can't fuck up. So a lot of people's livelihoods and jobs are relying on that responsibility. Right. So
and a ton of emails and phone calls. Man, that's what I saw was like 90% of it.
Yeah, that's very true. It's just coordinating. Coordination of everything. All right. So for directing, what was your concept after you wrote the script? Did you have it already in your head as you were going to direct it? Are you writing to direct kind of process?
Right, like all my stuff. I was trying to take that advice from like that distributor told me from the short films. What I was doing, like from that short film realm to the feature film realm, like carry that over, But even though it's totally going from a short film to a feature is like going from college football to NFL. It's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
You're going with I was thinking about this today actually, is like, because when you make a short film, I don't want to jump too much into this, but when you do a short film, or anything small, it's like that's maybe a 2-3 month commitment versus a feature is like a 2-year commitment or a 2 or 3, 4, 5-year commitment. It's an endurance run versus a short film or something smaller. It's a huge difference. But anyways, yes, I was taking that same concept from doing shorts into my features as like that's my style. And I had a style for directing and everything. And when I wrote it, I had that same style in my head on what I wanted for the lighting, which I put in the script, little like details about that, some things and some of the shots, little things, because most scripts don't describe shots for the most part. Sometimes they will like dolly out shot or something like that here and there, but for the most part they don't. But I put some stuff in the script about that, and I had in my mind how I wanted it directed, and met with my cinematographer or Weber, and we put together a shot list and made it happen based on all that.
Great film.
I loved it. One of the things you touched on that I really loved about the film is you said you pulled from a lot of that 90s inspiration.
Right.
And your opening title sequence is exactly that.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, because that's what all I could think. Even the quality of the shot, like it wasn't like it was incredibly high def and modern. It looked like it was shot on a camera back in the 90s, you know. And I was just like, oh, this is awesome. That music going over it, and you know, it's a title shot over the city of Los Angeles, right?
Right, LA.
I mean, well, that's not a spoiler or anything.
No. Multiple shots over LA.
Spoiler alert.
The styling shot of LA. Yeah, it's in the trailers.
What was your favorite part? What aspect of those things that you did, writing, directing, producing, and acting in it, was your favorite of this movie?
Overall,
Yeah.
everything.
What was most fun? Maybe fun, rewarding, whatever.
Yeah.
Directing?
Because it was my first feature, dude. And that was a huge milestone for me. Like, I always told myself, I wanted to do my first feature before I was 30, and I did it at 29. Got it out when I was 29. I'm 30 now. Just turned 30. It's already November. Turned 30 in June.
Yeah.
But directing, just because that's why I think I enjoyed that the most. And yeah, it was my first feature, so it was so cool. Like, directing a feature film, dude. It's not a lot of people say they've done that. It's just hard. It's very hard to do, and it's very cool and rewarding, and it's probably the biggest accomplishment of my entire life.
Yeah. What was your least favorite?
Producing or editing.
And what do you think? Why?
Well, no. Editing is kind of cool. I think the thing with the producing, I don't dislike it. I think it's a lot of coordination, and I wish there's no knock on this. I've learned from my experience. Next time I need a big army, as far as producers and people to help me manage stuff, to take a lot of workload off my shoulders and stress and stuff. But it was just so much. Like, I ended up taking on like the whole film and post-production on my back. Even in the beginning, like, things started falling through. Locations, I ended up having to find locations and find all these additional resources on my own. So it was, lower budget movie. It wasn't like super high budget, and it was just a ton of work, dude. Like, it was overbearing at times. I wake up like, wow, this is just, I had so much in my mind to do. So that's why I disliked it. But I mean, it's not like a bad job.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're in this industry because we all love it,
right,
and there's always, no matter I think what industry, you're always going to have the aspects that you love and the aspects that are a little bit more of just like the grind work that comes with the territory.
Right.
And yeah, I could say the same thing. Like I just said in a minute, I was like, line producing is a pain in the ass. I got to do it all the time. But that, if it means that I have to do that to accomplish the rest of my job and do the rest of the shit that I like, then fuck yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. And I'll do it smiling.
That's why I had that same mindset. It's like, dude, if that's what I have to do to direct, act as one of the main guys and all that, yeah, I'll do it, definitely.
So give a little backstory, because a lot of people don't know what it's like out here in LA to make it in the industry. When did you come to LA?
5.5 years ago.
5.5 years
ago. Was July of 2012.
And what were you doing? But like, did you come out here to be an actor, a writer, a director, all the above? Did you know you wanted to make films? Like, what was your goal when you first came out here?
Acting, mainly acting. But here's the thing: when I was a kid, when I was like 5, I used to love like Indiana Jones, the Aliens movies from James Cameron, and I've always knew at some point.
Classics.
Yeah, there you go. I wanted to get into even a young age. I was like, well, it'd be cool to get into directing and stuff. But this time when I was like, I thought, well, let me do acting. That's when you see a movie, the first person you see in the movie is the actors. That's all you really know. So you don't really know about all the behind the scenes jobs. You don't know what a gaffer is, a grip. Like, I didn't even know what the hell that was. So I came out here, or line producer. So like, anyways, like, well, acting. I'm gonna focus on acting. So it was acting to answer your question. But I've always been interested in directing, in filmmaking, since I was a kid too. But mainly acting, yes. So I came out here, started doing acting for about a year and a half, and then booked a few things, and then a little hiatus to kind of replan and stuff. And I went to a film school. So I always wanted to start making my own stuff, producing, directing, and writing my own stuff. And then took it from there, and then started making my own shorts, and opened my company, made the feature, and then the rest is history.
So you went, I was trying to get at what was your motivation to go to film school? Like, I was trying to see that transition, because I feel like a lot of people come out here and they have like stars in their eyes and I'm going to make it. But this fucking business is hard. Yes. And it's hard, especially if you're an actor. I think that's probably the hardest part of this business. Yeah, well, there's jobs for everything, but if you look, I think there's over 200,000, at least over 100,000 registered SAG actors in Los Angeles.
How many?
over 100,000, if not, I think maybe over 200,000, just in Los Angeles.
I can believe that.
So not including New York and all the other cities around the country. And like that, it's oversaturated. You know, you're going up in a room, you really got to like be at the right place at the right time or bring something really unique to the table. But it's way more of a chance when you're just doing the acting. Whereas like we have a term in musical theater called triple threat. And what it means is you can sing, act, and dance. So when you go as an actor and as a director, if they're hiring you for a play, right, or a musical, and you are really good at singing and acting, but you can't dance, you're going to lose that role to somebody who can do all three. And I think it's the same thing out here with like what we're talking about of being a writer, an actor, a director, and a producer. Like your chances are so much better if you can wear as many hats as possible. And, you know, I say if you really want to be an expert at one thing, then pursue that with all your might. You know, obviously people, I only want to direct. Then fucking just focus on that. If I only want to act, just focus on that. But if you have time to understand the other aspects, you know, it's only going to make you like, oh yeah, I acted on this piece, but I also was a production assistant on this piece over here. And because I was a production assistant over there, it got me the job as an actor over here.
Yes.
And like that shit happens all the fucking time.
All the time.
So you know.
But what about the theory of that a jack of all trades is a master of none?
You know, you don't wanna
Look at
spread
Leonardo
yourself
da
too
Vinci
thin.
though. I say fuck that noise. You can be a master of all, jack of all trades and a master of all.
You just got to know when to focus on stuff and not get too spread too thin. That's how countries in Rome and America's going to fall.
Right.
Spread too thin, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
Well, and speaking of that, Carl, great way to segue to this. When we were first talking after your premiere, and this was like maybe a week or two after your premiere, so I had time to digest everything. One of the things you were asking me on my honest opinion, and I go, dude, I don't know how you I know what it takes to do all these jobs. And I don't know how you've had the time and energy to do all that stuff. So my only opinion was if you had maybe limited yourself to maybe one or two of those jobs, everything would have been like your part in everything would have been a little bit stronger. Like I think the one thing that I would say, I think your best attribute is your directing with this film. 100%. I love that. Your production was amazing because you did it all on your fucking own. So that's why that's really impressive. But what I was telling you is I think that you're a good actor, but I think you were focused in your head so much of the other details of production and directing that it didn't allow you to embrace the character and get into it in as much as you could. But your character, granted, written didn't the other characters had more dialogue, so I think that worked.
Which I did on purpose.
There you go.
Because of that reason.
Well, there you go. We'll explain that.
That's why I wrote
you're smart.
the script like
there
that.
You go.
Because I told you I knew I wanted to direct it and produce it, but I knew I was like, I've acted in their movies. I was like, there's no freaking way I'm gonna be able to memorize tons and tons of dialogue like the Jesse character had. I don't have time to memorize tons of dialogue. And I'd like the character I wrote, who I'm seeing the movie, is a type of like drive character. It's a
so funny. You were quiet, Ryan, the whole time. That's all I could think of.
I did notice that.
Quiet Keith.
I did notice that.
It's the Clint Eastwood cool style of, lets his actions speak for his words. Doesn't have a ton of dialogue. I wrote that on purpose. I like the one because I love those types of characters. Yeah, I love those types of characters to play. That's my favorite type of role. And then two, I knew going into it, I didn't have time to memorize tons and tons of dialogue. I could memorize. I can still play lead in a certain way to make it like that, where I'm the lead, one of the four leads, but I have limited dialogue.
Yeah, with the stoic character.
Yeah, but you were still super important in the film, know, but you did it very cleverly.
And you're working on a new film now, right? Where you are going to wear less hats.
I am. Same thing again. For the most part, but I'm hiring a bigger team with production side. So
There we go.
Take that weight off.
Yeah.
That's
And let you focus on the fun, creative stuff.
Yes. Yeah,
You already put in the hours. Well, I mean, everybody's got to put in more, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you already went through that initial hurdle. Might as well just, make life easier on yourself.
Yeah, dude. I need to.
What, where can people find Mason Brothers?
They can find it on Amazon Prime. And it's coming out now to China Mobile. And there's two other foreign... Oh, iFlix is one. These are foreign buyers in like distribution company, or not distribution, but foreign buyers in VOD releases out. And plus one's in Argentina, one's in China, and then there's a third one just got picked up by my distributor. So I released the movie just theatrically through my company in LA, and then for about a month, and then my distributor for all the aftermarket stuff like the foreign buyers and airlines, VOD, all that stuff. they have it, Adler and Associates, and they go to American Film Market, they go to all these different cons, all these different markets and sell it, and they made some deals with those two I just listed, and they have like 150 different countries they released to VOD wise, and they're making more sales. So yeah, it's just in the process of going through all that now, and it's going to get released hopefully to like a Netflix and Redbox.
You can also see the ad on the side of a bus, like how I did when I was on the Tanner Freeway months ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, this is Keith rolling up on me. Oh, no, it's not. It's
Weren't
the
you?
ad.
Your face wasn't your face on
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
of course you did that yourself. I would do that shit too.
I just am, dude. That's how my posters is a little trick.
You fucking texted me when you got that, and you were somewhere out in the street, and it was a natural bus, an LA bus running through, and he took a picture of it. And he texted me, he goes, "Look, I'm on the face of a bus, Devin. I'm on the face." And I'm like, "That's fucking baller. I love it."
Did you really see a bus ad? Or
Hell yeah.
Bro, they were everywhere. I can't tell you how many times I saw them. They were fucking everywhere when your premiere was going, because you had a short run after that here in town too, right? A couple different theaters.
Yeah.
So that was a good strategy, doing the local plug for sure.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was funny.
Man. It was cool. That was a cool life experience. That was cool, to have in LA, man. It's the biggest hub for entertainment and film. So,
well, one of the things before we get into our end segment, do you guys have any questions about the movie first? Carl? I didn't mean to just jump through.
No, Mason Brothers. We saw. Yeah. I know he was working on something new. I don't know if you want to hear about his new stuff. He's got a new film he's working on. Or is it a secret?
I don't know. We'll wait till the ducks fall in order for that. We'll bring him back for another episode when that shit gets really.
I understand. He'll have to kill us if he tells us.
Well, the only reason I asked you guys any questions because you guys know this. Our listeners don't know this about me and Keith. We have a little bit of a unique relationship, and
a lot of hot sex.
I was like, whoa.
Only when the camera's off, bro. No, I'm just kidding. We fucking grew up together. We went to high school together. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to. All right, so let me tell you the story. Keith will get your perspective and we'll hear you guys what you think. But me and Keith we're good friends in high school, right? And, I was always in theater and acting. I was always an actor. So, like, right after high school, maybe a year or something, Keith comes up to me and he's like, and this is back in Tampa, in Florida. And he's like, "Yo, Devin, I want to get into acting. What do I do?" So I'm like, "All right, you got to go do this. You got to get an agent. You got to start booking some gigs, do some commercial work, take some classes, get into the rhythm, see what it's like." And he's like, "All right, cool." And then next thing I knew, he was like, "Yo, I'm moving to LA." And I was like, "All right, cool, man. Good luck." And I stayed in Florida for like 10 years. And then we like,
good luck.
Good luck.
Well, because it was just so sudden to me. And like Keith, in my opinion, when we were friends, like, we were friends in high school. So I didn't know him as a little kid where he talked about his passion for movies. But in high school, like that, he never talked about interest in going into the industry. So it was just something from left field. And I was like, all right, man, wish you the best, bro. Good luck. I don't know, like, what got you in this bug under your skin, but it's awesome. It's something I've been doing. I love it. So, hey, whatever. Go for it, brother. Anyways, we like kind of lost touch. I mean, stay in touch like online, Facebook and shit, but like we weren't like talking all the time. I mean, we talk like once every 3 fucking years or some shit like that.
Something like that.
And until I moved back out here to LA a year ago. And then we realized, oh, you're still out here. Oh, I'm out here now. Well, let's go grab a beer. And then after that, he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I've written, directed, produced, and starred in my own film, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And I go, holy shit, Keith. I was like, you just told me you were going to LA, and I didn't hear from you again. Now I come back out here, and it's like, bam, what the fuck, bro? You putting in some work during this time.
And his face is on a bus.
Yes. Yes. That's why I was like, God damn, man. Powerful Keith Sutliff.
Man. Hey, man, just trying to make my mark here and do good work.
What was going on? Because everybody from like Tampa is going to listen to this. So like, what was
cool, dude.
What was growing up in Tampa like with these fucking knuckleheads? You want to set them up some stories like what we used to do on a weekend?
Oh man, I don't know if I want to bring it. Well, we went to Plain High School for people who don't know, or people who are listening. So when I met Devin in 10th grade.
Yeah,
10th when you came to Plant, and we hang out with the same groups of people. Sam, I'm starting to naming Sam Gibbons and
shout out Sam, future president of America.
There he is, David Jaguar. I don't know. There's so many people. Ryan McDowell. I'm just thinking of some people.
There's a bunch of our best friends. We were a really close, good group of people that were like. It was one of the unique things about our group of friends that a lot of us stayed in touch afterwards. Like most of the time, I hear from people, they're like, "Wait, you still talk to people from high school?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's weird.
Yeah, they're some fucking friends.
It's funny you say because I talked to my parents and other people, and they're like, "Oh, I haven't stayed in contact with high school friends, and since I got out, just college, man." And I think that what changed that was social media.
Absolutely,
that's what changed
Facebook and everything. Like being able to like check in and see what's going on in somebody's life, and like if you happen to be in like the town they're in, like you're traveling on work, you're like, "Yo, let me look this friend up and catch up and stay in touch. Let's go grab a drink," you know. So I think, well, the only reason I say that is because like I want Neil and Carl, I want to hear your thoughts. This was one of our things that we used to do. I'll say this. I used to do it. Anyone else allegedly may or may not have been around when this happened.
Were you wearing like white cloths over your face?
No, fuck no, man. All right. Come on, fuck you.
What is this?
It was the craziness of the parties that we used to have. So the way we used to throw parties is we would go. Yeah, dude, we would throw parties at not only houses, but on the weekend, on a typical like Friday night, I would go grab a keg from the store and I would take it in my Jeep and drop it with cups at a park in Tampa, like at some boat ramps or something. And then we'd have like 50 or 100 people come and we'd all be out there partying, drinking. And then the cops would come and they'd break it up. And then we'd had CB radios in our car. And like multiple ones of us. So like because fucking Florida, why not? Right? So the cops would break up that park and we'd be like, all right, now we're going to this place. We're going to this place. Re-alert. So then we'd have literally like a caravan of like 50 fucking cars going to another park to drink a keg. So our Friday night consisted of multiple illegal things, not only drinking and driving, but fucking, I mean, I wasn't drinking and driving. I was being DD and carrying the keg because I knew, but other people were obviously breaking the law. But we would like party hop from like this spot to that spot to this spot because South Tampa, where we grew up, was a little bit of a Richie Rich kind of neighborhood. It was like a low key Beverly Hills type thing. Yeah. So none of our parents or nobody's parents wanted to ever host a party because they had nice shit in their house. And when our crew went to a party where like somebody was out of town, it was horrific. I'm talking like we've had times when there was hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage at a party. Like somebody threw a chair through a fucking sliding glass window. We put like a soap foam party in somebody's tile kitchen. So it was slip and slide on the ground in their fucking house, like water damage. Oh my god, punching through walls, and these are like $200,000-$300,000 nice homes. Like, so that's why everyone's like, just go to the woods, get out of here, get the fuck out of here, our place.
We shouldn't say we should say the plant counterparts people.
Because like
so many people, there'd be like hundreds of people there, and people be throwing like, we go to a party, people throw like DVDs like off the. We went to one. I remember the guy's name. I'll never sound here, but they were throwing like DVDs off the balcony, and like people jumping off the balcony on top of this guy's car.
It's so unnecessary destruction.
They threw like his like animals out of the cages, and like they were just tearing up this place, man.
Dude, that's when shit happens like that. That's when we were like, all right, it's time to leave. And that's when we were like, let's take our little group of friends and let's go to the park or something.
That's having a rager right there.
The fucking weird thing is when I talk to classes, we graduated in 05. So when I talk to classes who graduated before us and classes who graduated after us, both them plus the administrators at the school at the time said our class was the exception to the rule. Like nobody before us and everybody after us talked about these fucking stories. And I'm like, what makes it? Do we feed off of each other? Like, what makes it just us? Like, I thought everybody did this crazy shit. And I tell these stories and people are like, nope.
That's moving.
No, actually, when I was in high school, my friend David, he had he wasn't the most popular kid ever. Like, he was, straight up normal. But his parents were going away for the week. And he was like, Neil, I have to do it. I was like, do what? And he was like, I'm having a party. Like the biggest party. I was like, no, you're not. And then like one of the most like random, like popular people in my class were like, yo, we're going to David's house. Like, there's no way this guy should even know who David is, let alone go to David's house. I'm like, all right, dude. Like, all right, I'll be there tonight. I'm like, all right, dude. I go to David's house like on my bicycle at nighttime. It was almost like I'm driving to his house. You see, there's just like fire in the back, like. Like this is an inferno of a party, right? I'm like, holy shit. Like, David's parents wouldn't even allow you to walk in the house with your shoes on. We in there, oh my God, there's at least 100 people in the living room. And I'm like, oh my God, David, like, yo, is this gonna be legit? Like, how are you gonna escape out of this? And we go to the backyard, you couldn't see no one's faces, but know what you can see? You can see those cigarette cherries, at least 1,000 like cigarette cherries everywhere. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, there's so many people here. And all of a sudden, like, I'm sitting at a table, I'm like, I don't know how long this is gonna last. Cops show up and then we're all getting out of there. Like, everyone's like scrambling. My friend fucking Dan Sailing, he was all like, "Yo, dude, I got an SUV. If you come with me, if you want to live." Everyone's like, "Oh shit, go with Dan." So everyone's fucking following Dan. Dan's like Homer Simpson going through the crowd. You know, everyone's going through. So he jumps into the car as the cops are approaching and shit. He gets to the Suburban, and we all jump into the back of the Suburban. No, back in the day, the Suburbans opened up like barn doors. So we all jump into the back, and as the car was pulling off, my friend John Siriano was like, "Neil, please help me in." And I was like, "I'm sorry, John. There's not enough room." And I had to close it on him while the cops. It was very dramatic. It was, yeah.
Where were you up in what state?
New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey? Really?
It's shaped like Florida.
Yes,
Okay.
but next time on Skitbags Radio, we'll be talking about how you can successfully escape these kind of situations while still having the party, especially the classic get back into the party after the cops show up. We all know that one, right? Yeah. Or do we?
Skitbags Radio.
Those are crazy times, man.
What the reason I
College
tell
is
a lot of those stories is because I feel like, I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong, and let's ask our audience to submit some stories. You can, everybody listening at this, you can email us at skitbagsradio@gmail.com, or you can tweet at skitbagsradio. You can tell us some of your crazy stories from high school, because I thought that our stories were pretty fucking nuts. Yeah. And then I hear some others and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just normal. Maybe I'm just the exception.
John Siriano was booking behind the Suburban, and I was like, it was like Terminator. I was like, can't, dude. We had to close it off.
He reminds me of the movie The Abyss. There's a part where there's a part with Ed Harris, and like the place is like filling up with like water, and he has to shut like the door, but then the door shuts, and like he's trying to like open for him, but he's like, "Hey, there's nothing I can do, man." And you're like drowning, and like they're drowning, and they're like banging on the door like open. He's like, "I don't know what I can do." Or no, that's also in the movie The Rock too. The Rock in the beginning with the smoke, those little glass things that break the smoke, and they slam the door on those guys. That's another one. He's like, "Dude, we can't let you out. I'm sorry." And they're like dying. They're like banging on the door to like get out, and they're like, "Sorry."
Like, can't do it.
All right.
The Rock, man, it's a good movie.
It is what it is. Cool. Well, I got to. We'll go to the last segment to wrap this up. And Neil and Carl, I'm gonna need your help with this because I only have a couple of these questions. So, this is a new segment that we're trying out, and it's something called "What Would You Do If?" or basically like if questions. So, like, you know, what would you do if you won the lottery? What would you do if this was? But we'll jump into it. You know, my first one is kind of a silly one, but it's. We'll get into the silly ones later. Let me ask a real one first. If you could have a beer with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
That's a good question. Mike Tyson.
Why?
Because I think he's he's my favorite celebrity and athlete, but I think he's such an interesting life. In my opinion, he's one of the most talented athletes to ever live. But I just want to, it'd be good to, you know, and I've met him twice actually, but I never really had to like really sit down and talk to him. But it'd be good to pick his brain on like the discipline, because it takes so much discipline to be a champion, and then to achieve that level like he's achieved. You know, I've researched a lot of stuff on his training regimens and stuff, but like I'd like to know kind of like what was his day in and day out life like, because maintaining that to get to the top and be a champion, and that's so much work, and I can compare that to the film industry with that takes every single day a grind to maintain focus. So it really comes down to a thing of focus. So
and it's also because you're wearing him on your shirt.
I am. I am.
Mike.
Carl, what about you, man? If you could have a beer with anybody, who would it be? Dead or alive?
Beer with anybody, dead or alive. Oh, it would be Methuselah from the Bible.
Ooh, fucking going old school.
Nice.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah, they say live
that was
like
juicy,
4,000 years or something like that. Like, you know, he got some fucking stories, dog. He probably talk a lot of shit too. Like, he's 4,000 years old. You gonna talk some shit?
No shit.
Yeah.
Neil?
Yeah.
too much of a fan of anybody. To be honest with you.
Neil's answer is himself.
I would love to have a beer with him. With Sean Combs. I like Puffy.
Oh yeah, Puffy's a good one. That's
showing him. I think he can help me get some money or some shit like that, or like help me help each other out, like something that would like push me forward, and also I get to pick his brain about like the whole like Biggie and Tupac.
That's right. Give the good old reach around.
I'm not too much into like hitting him up on hip hop information, but like he's a businessman. Like he knows how to.
He's a business mogul.
Yeah,
he is very smart businessman.
That's the part. That's what I would want to. That's what I'd be interested in hearing about from him.
Really good choice.
And from the same area, so.
That's dope.
I said Steve Jobs. I'm sorry. If he was alive, I'd like to talk to. It'd be good to have
Steve.
He's one of the most successful entrepreneurs ever lived, dude.
Yeah, man.
And that's great because when you're making a film or you're in a film business, you're an entrepreneur. You're making your own business. So that's picking. It's good to have a business mentor. That's something I didn't have coming into the business, but having a business mentor is huge in my opinion. If you get one, get one. But like talking to somebody like that, obviously.
I think for me, I was thinking about this and there was like a couple ties in my brain, but I think ultimately who would be the best to like hang out and have a good conversation and party with, like who'd be down to get drunk? Plato, man. Plato would just get drunk with me and talk shit about the universe. So I'd get lost, but he'd probably try to fuck me at the end. But all right. So if you met Jim Carrey, what would you do if you met Jim Carrey and instead of shaking your hand, he talks out of his ass?
I would just laugh because I grew up watching him. He was one of my favorite actors. I loved Dumb and Dumber. Ace Ventura. When I saw him, I had that movie. I rented and I bought it. I've watched it a million times, dude. But
he's one of my favorites.
I would just laugh.
He'd
be great to me. That's so funny you mentioned that because he'd be awesome to me. Yeah, I would just laugh. I don't know how because that guy is everything he does is just.
Here's another silly one. What would you do if you were the president of the Juggalo Nation?
Of the what?
The Juggalo Nation. You know what juggalos are?
Like a gigolo? Like a gigolo?
No, like ICP. Like juggalos. Like insane clown posse where they all paint their face and they call themselves the Juggalo. Never mind. This isn't going to work.
Well, I know what insane clown posse is. Okay.
ICP.
It was a silly one.
Back to Jim Carrey. And all my life, Jim Carrey has been like my old barometer. I've always said when I was younger, I was like, when Jim Carrey becomes like old and like when he passes, that's when I know that I'm old. That's when I've always said that when I was a kid. I was such a huge Jim Carrey fan. Then like you start seeing like celebrities pass and whatnot, and I'm like, well, shit. That he's gonna be my barometer. Once if something happens to him, like that's when I know like I'm getting really old. So like I don't know. That's just a weird like I love Jim Carrey.
Dude, me too.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there is a new documentary coming out about Man on the Moon, and I think we talked about this last time with the last show we did. But I saw the trailer for that, and oh my god, I don't think it's out yet. I can't remember where it comes out. I don't want to misquote, but it was fucking amazing. It's all the behind the scene footage of him playing Andy Kaufman during the making of Man on the Moon, and how the studio didn't want this footage to get released when the movie was actually being released because he was in character on and off set. So he would be Kaufman offset raising a fucking ruckus as Andy Kaufman. Fuck what he goes. Some of the producers in the trailer, this is quoted, like some of the producers were like, this production is gonna get shut down because of the number of lawsuits, all the post-traumatic stress that the people working on it are having to go through by dealing with quote unquote Andy. It was just Jim being Andy, but that's how committed he was to this and how fucking amazing he was. Like when you watch this documentary, the little bit of interviews that I've seen, it blows my mind that a human can take themselves to that place and emulate that so well.
Well, before we close out, I just wanted to also mention that Jim Carrey is also like the king of like the gimmick hook comedies. That's one thing I think a lot of these comedies that are coming out in theaters now, they're funny. They're funny actors. It's a funny story, whatnot, but they don't have like that hook where you can actually input anybody into the film and people would watch it. The same thing, what were we mentioning before that we don't really know who the person was starring in the film, but we were still going to see it? Baby Driver. Baby Driver has such a good hook. You don't really care who the hell's in the film. It has that good of an idea, and Jim Carrey, that's what made his film so great because he had roles that you could actually put anyone into and it'd be good, but since it was him, he brought it to the next level. My examples are going to be Liar Liar. These are like gimmick hook movies where like the guy can't lie. You know what I mean? Like that's like, oh, you can put anyone. It's a good like engine for the film. Another one was Bruce Almighty. He's God. You know what I mean? It's all like these gimmick. He was like the king of being like in a comedy that had like this hook to it, like The Mask. He has a mask that makes you super cool. You know what I mean? Like every one of his comedies had like this. Oh, like you. Like,
so
Truman Show.
I don't even care. Truman Show's good.
I don't care what the. I don't care. Well, I know that, but like that's when he got to like a better. Like
you get a little bit more serious.
But like, but in terms of like this instant comedies, like I don't even care what the plot is. I can just see like the image of the poster. Oh, I know what this looks funny,
dude. You know? Two awesome things, real quick, before we wrap this too. Is we talk Ace Ventura. So I was listening to an interview of him on Ace Ventura, and he was like developing the character, and he's like telling him where he got like. He's like, I modeled the character after a tropical bird. And I was like, that makes so much sense. He goes, if you know, he's wearing like Hawaiian shirts and he's got like the big hairdo. And when he walks, he like walks with his head. And he's like, left to the right. And doing that, like he's a fucking toucan. Oh my God. Like that's what he modeled it after. And I'm like, whoa, that's brilliant. I go, that is so great. Because he's an animal lover. So he's like, I'm going to put an animal as this character.
Anyone remember Ace Ventura, the cartoon?
No.
Yes, I do. Yes,
yeah, I think so.
It was short lived.
Oh, okay.
It was very short.
Definitely Ace Ventura the cartoon. It was back when like CBS had cartoons, homie, in the morning. Yeah.
It's time.
I remember, dude, when I bought the VHS, because you know on the front cover, it has him with like the little Ace Ventura Pet Detective card, like he's like showing it on the poster. Well, I remember the VHS came with a card, one of those cards in the box. Like, and I always had it. I was so happy to have that card. I carry it with me everywhere as a kid, man. I was like 8. I had that Pet Detective.
Yo, the Comedy Store, like a week or two ago, the Comedy Store posted this photo of Jim Carrey and Mitzi Shore on their Instagram and an explanation after it, and it was awesome because I didn't know this fact. So Jim Carrey went up back during the 70s. He was a member of the store, like he came up in the Comedy Store under Mitzi Shore, and he went up on stage one time and did the bit talking out of his ass, and it bombed. And he was like, it fucking ruined. He walked off stage and he saw Mitzi, who was the owner of the store, and epic, legendary, you know, Mitzi. But he was like, I'm so sorry, Mitzi. I'll never do that again. That was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. And she looked at him and she goes, no, that was fucking hilarious. Don't listen to these fools. Right. That's awesome. So he kept doing it. And then that's what made it into the movie. It's like her recognizing, and like, you don't always have to listen to that audience that's right in front of you, because maybe that's just like the wrong time or the wrong group of people. But he was able to be like, I'm going to bring this uniqueness. Nobody's ever talked out of their ass on film before that or since. Like it's one of those things.
One of my favorite lines from Liar Liar is when he's like in the bathroom, like fucking kicking, like beating himself up. Then someone walks in like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Can't you see? I'm kicking my own ass."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's epic.
It's like, what? Like,
it's like that movie's so
like,
great.
It's so absurd. Like you wouldn't be asking this. Like,
well, he kind of tries to kind of play that character somewhat straight, but add that Jim Carrey element. Like like another great one that sticks from my head from that movie is when he's trying to write. The pen is red when it's a blue pen, and his hand takes control of himself, and he like his hand unconsciously writes blue, and he like pops up behind the desk. He's like, the pen is blue, the pen is blue, the goddamn pen is blue. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Hey, I got a funny one from. I used to always joke around with my friends about. There's a part in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective where he's like watching. He's with Courtney Cox, I think, right? And like she calls him in. He's like watching like the Dolphins video at like the thing. He's like he's chewing sour fleas. He's like spitting it out into an ashtray. You know about this, right? He's like spitting it out into an ashtray. And they're like looking at him. It's like her and like some other guy, and he's like like making gestures and stuff, like watching it. He's like, oh, like doing stuff. And then like or no, what they say to him? They asked him, do you want an ashtray? He goes, no, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
And he's like putting it into like something else or on the table or something. I don't remember.
He's like the best of those bits, man. Ace Ventura 2, when they're on the plane and he's like, peanuts? And he's like, what? He's like, and the lady's like, penis? And it sounds like she's saying penis. And I think she might actually be saying penis. But he's like, she's saying penis, and she goes, penis? And he's like, what? She goes, penis? And he goes, no, it's bulky, but I consider it carry-on. And then she's like, no, peanuts, and like delicately places a bag of peanuts in front of him. I'm like, oh, okay. So that type of humor, I think, is like a lot of it is lacking these days.
He also coined the phrase, I forget which Ace Ventura it is, where he's like, as you can see here, you put the wrong symphasis. You put
Syllable.
You put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
I think we could talk all day about fucking all these.
Ace Ventura, what do you think about Ace Ventura? That humor was so bizarre and weird.
Yes.
But it was funny.
It's one of my all-time.
Because he would do like these weird gestures. Like there was a part where he meets like the Dolphins Stadium and like it shows him he's like mimicking something. He's like, I don't want to do this. He gets on his like. He does this weird gesture. He's like, he's mimicking the dolphin. He's like mimicking the dolphin. He's doing like some type of British accent or something in front of some other like team. I think he's like the manager of the Dolphins or some bullshit. It was just freaking weird. It was hilarious though. Yeah. Me and my brother used to watch him. We just laughed.
He's also funny. Coming out the ass in the rhino in part 2.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, everybody. Some people hate on fucking Ace Ventura too. I love it because also little do people know this.
It's just as funny, if not funnier.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could Google this and fact check it, but I'm fairly certain that Spike Jonze directed that, and I think Spike directed Man on the Moon as well. I could be wrong. I got to fact check that. But that makes a lot of sense because Spike Jonze, as you know, Jackass. Okay. So imagine that humor, but back with Jim Carrey instead of Johnny Knoxville. You know, and nothing against Johnny. I love the guys from Jackass. It was hilarious, awesome.
Some more Jackass movies, actually. Now you think about it, I love those films.
Right?
Are they done? Or is it?
Dude, Spike Jonze is the head of fucking Viceland now. He doesn't have time to do another.
You better find some time.
That man is a brilliant business, like genius.
Time to resurrect Saw, which I am so grateful and thankful.
Yeah,
for. Thank you.
I haven't seen that yet, but that sounds awesome.
I don't care who the hell's in Saw. Just give me that shit every fucking Halloween.
Yes, they make a new one. Yeah, there's like 20 of them now.
Please, that's all. I just see a new game, a new twist. I don't care who's in it. I don't care who is in it.
Saw 2 is my favorite one so far.
There was one of them where there were two happening at the same time. Remember?
All right, I got one more question and we're gonna wrap it up. All right, Keith, and you guys answer too, but I wanted to hear if you could go back in time and be in any movie that has ever come out and be a part in it, what movie would it be and what part would you want to play as like an actor?
Good question.
I know I'm full.
No. I'm just trying. There's so many different roles. If I had to pick one, I don't want to say one because it's too close to like the Mason Brothers role. I'm thinking of in my head.
Well, whatever. Fucking say it, man.
Drive.
Nobody's got a gun to your head.
Drive, because those are the type of character I like. Drive, that driver character. That's the type of character I like. So I relate to that. That's why I like. But I love freaking Terminator 2, Aliens. I would love to be like Hicks from Aliens or Cobb from Inception. The cab, or even a small role, even Tom Hardy's role, something like that. But like something like that. But Drive probably.
See, all these roles are roles where you might get hurt or might get shot. Yeah. Like me, I want to be from Brewster's Millions. That's the role. If I could be in any movie, I'd be Richard Pryor in Brewster's Millions. Give me all these money. I can spend it all in a week.
That's awesome. Carl, you got an answer? What do you think?
For me, it's Coming to America. I want to be Sammy, his partner, his Arsenio Hall's role.
Fuck yeah.
I want Arsenio's role in that movie. Like to be part of that movie and that whole scene and how memorable that movie is and all the memorable scenes and being there with a great guy like Eddie and all that stuff. That'd be it.
That's awesome. Those are great roles, man. Stoked. Well, I think unless you guys anything else, I think that's it. I think we'll wrap this shindig up, right?
Yeah, Skitbags out, bitches.
Yo, hey, I want to say thank you so much to my friend, my colleague, Keith Sutliff, for being on. I think our audience appreciates all the knowledge you dropped. Yeah. Thank you for Carl and Mr. C and Neil fucking dropping some knowledge and helping me out with this because I ain't shit without you guys. Yeah. So, Keith, start her out and tell everybody where they can find you if you want to plug social media, plug Mason Brothers, like anything. Just let everybody out there know what's up.
Sure, you can find me on Facebook, obviously Keith Sutliff, my name, or my company name, KS Pictures LLC, and then also Twitter. You can find KS Pictures LLC. You can contact me through IMDb. If you IMDb Pro, I have my personal stuff on there, or just my age, everything. You can find my company website. So my company website's on my IMDb. You can find there. Let's go to my company website.
Awesome.
LLC. Nice. Oh yeah, check me out on Instagram at Poppy Carlo, Mr. CD Enforcer. Google me, motherfucker. You always got to check out the Skitbags family. Check out the Ding Dong Show on Mondays at 10:30 on the Instagram, the Ding Dong Show.
Yeah. Comedy Store, Monday nights, Belly Room, represent. You'll go see Mr. C, brilliant there, and along with a cast of awesome people led by the legendary Don Barris.
Yeah.
Neil, what's up?
We know who would do, would it be? Say that backwards because it's me. It's Neil the Great. You know, you can catch me on Instagram, catch my Vimeo page. You'll see that in the bio of my illustrious picture, as well as my handle for Facebook is Neil Chisholm. But you know how it goes.
Word.
Party on.
All right. And this is Devin Mueller. You can find me on Instagram at sailor_dev. But more importantly, check out Skitbags Radio on Twitter at Skitbags Radio. Email the show if you got questions, thoughts, love, hate, whatever you want. Skitbagsradio@gmail.com. And as always, big shout out to Dash Radio and Dash Talk. Big shout out to our fearless leader, Mickey Gooch. And on that note, we're out.
Skitbags Radio.